from Chapel Forge. So I did a little bit of an experiment in the freeze dryer. I freeze dried squashes that I pulled from the garden, but I didn't de-seed them. I didn't take the skins off. I literally just chopped them up and put them on the trays. And then when I did some salsa, I took the tops of my tomatoes and I put those on the freeze dry tray. So if you've been following us at all on Facebook or Instagram or even on YouTube, you know that we enjoy having powders on the counter. So we have spinach powder, collard green powder, kale powder, obviously fruit powder, strawberry, banana, etc. Tomato powder is not one that I have on the counter, neither is squash powder. So we're gonna put these into the Vitamix and we're gonna powder them down, and I think they're gonna be great. All right, so as I suspected, we just have amazing powder. There's like no chunks, no seeds, no skins, nothing. We just have amazing powder, so we can add this to whatever dish we want. So I had 3 freeze-dried trays of squash, which if I recall correctly was probably 10 different squashes. I had some acorn squash, turban squash, I can't remember. I had a few other kinds of squashes. I mean, most of them had like a hard skin, hard peel, all of which you would typically just either compost or give to the chickens or pigs or whatever. And all of that is in here. And there's like so many good vitamins and minerals and all that kind of stuff that are in the seeds and the skin that we're now gonna have in this powder. So we're gonna jar this up and put it on the counter. I got not quite half a gallon, like over a quart though, of squash powder from those maybe 10 squashes. So we can just continue to add to this as the summer goes on and more squashes coming in from the garden. I could throw zucchini in this. I mean, whatever, it's all gonna have basically the same kind of flavor. So this is phenomenal. I was not really sure how the skins and seeds were gonna go, but the Vitamix usually tears things up and it did not disappoint. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the tomatoes, and we're gonna get some great tomato powder on the counter. All right, so we have like a little over a half pint of tomato powder. So this is all the tops. I did not take anything off of the tops of those. I just threw them right on the tray. This is our squash powder. Obsessed with this color, it's amazing. 2 quick notes. If you have a freeze dryer, this parchment paper, I'll link it in the notes. You can get it on Amazon. It is amazing and like nothing sticks to it. Now, if you have liquid, I wouldn't put liquid on because it just runs underneath and then it's silly. But this is fantastic for strawberries, squashes, anything that would typically stick to the tray. Second quick note is if you don't have a freeze dryer, I realize not everyone has a freeze dryer. I've shared my Kosori dehydrator. It's about $150 on Amazon. I've shared that several times on multiple platforms and how much I love it. You could do this with that too. You know, obviously how long and all that, you might just be experimental depending on what you're doing, the sizes you cut it to, whether you do slices or chunks or whatever. But you could do it in there too. Now you won't get this like very, very fine powder like we get from the freeze dryer, because the freeze dryer almost makes the food like foam. But if you put it in the dehydrator and then put it in your blender, your Vitamix or whatever, you would get like, it almost looked like herbs. You know, you'd get like just very fine kinds of like crumbles instead of like a fine powder, but it would still work. I mean, if you wanted to add like the tomato or the squash, crumbles or whatever, however you would describe it, that you get from the dehydrator into your pasta sauce or just sprinkled over a dish, whatever, add it to your, like if you're making tacos, you could add that to your taco meat and just get some extra nutrition in there. So you could definitely do it with that. So you don't have to have a $3,000 freeze dryer to do things like this. You can definitely just have, I mean, I assume you could probably use the normal like round dehydrators. I just love my dehydrator because it has the door, and it's got the digital readout. I just love it. It's such a great one. And I'll also link that in the notes. So you can definitely do this on most food preservation budgets, I would say. These are just amazing to have on your counter. We, like I said, love having all these powders on our counter to add them to our dishes. So if you have questions about this, let me know, and try not to waste anything.